Okay, guys, why willpower alone isn't enough? For so many years, I thought that grit and willpower could get me through bouts of addiction. I thought that willpower alone could get me through really hard moments, not only by myself, but also with Ashlyn and like in our marriage, in our interaction. And what I realized is that I was operating on the assumption that it was only willpower that was needed if I wanted to succeed in not only in recovery but also within my marriage. And what I realized is I was so wrong. And this is why scientifically speaking, I always operated with a neural pathway, like a way of thinking in my head that's literally there. That when I was overloaded with stress, then I would have to escape. I would have to escape because it was too much. I would hit like an emotional threshold, and I couldn't deal with those emotions, whether it was stress from work, whether it was stress from life, finances, marriage, whatever it was. And then when I hit my emotional threshold, the only way I could find relief in my head was to act out in my addiction and look at porn. And that's how it worked for so many years. And what I realized was when I really started recovery, like true recovery, with specialized help, I realized that willpower alone will always fail me because I have a neural pathway that takes me down a different road. And so what helped me to develop a new pathway to operate in my mind, to operate against, was skills. I needed skills desperately to get me through those moments. And as I developed my skills through individual and through group specialized help, and through accountability, I learned that my skill set needs to be my first line of defense when facing any stress in life, no matter what it is, no matter where it comes from. And if I can if I have a small skill set that I can really be mindful of, then I don't have to rely on willpower. And willpower all of a sudden becomes a supplementary aid and assistance to getting through those tough moments because I don't have to rely on it. But the cool thing is what I realized is as my skill set grew, then my willpower grew as well. I kind of consider willpower as like this reservoir, if you will. And so my willpower grew as my skill set grew, and that helped me to really become more mindful, more skilled, and in those moments that are so tough and so hard, guess what? In addiction and recovery, but also my marriage and even with my kids, like it has helped tremendously. So for instance, just a few minutes ago, like Ashlyn's gone, she's out of town, and Lucy's right there, and that's my boundary. That's my bottom line is I can do a live as long as the girls are in the room. But a few minutes ago, Ellie was having a total come apart. She's hungry. She needs to have some lunch, so she's a little bit hangry, and she stayed up late last night too. But she totally came undone. And this thought in my head crossed of like just freaking out and yelling and spanking her because that would have made me feel better, right? But I'm like, stop. Like that, I don't need that at all. I don't need that at all because I have a skill set to be mindful of what I'm saying. I have a skill set to understand who she is and to listen to her. And I was calm, and within a few minutes she came back in and was like, guys, I'm having a hard day. I stayed up late last night, I'm hungry, and I'm really sorry. And then she started sobbing. She's like, I just need someone to hold me. And she's 7, and it was awesome. And guess what? We had a really cool moment. So that requires skill. To manage life stress, it requires skill. And in marriage, that also requires skill. So Ashley and I had this huge knockdown, drag out fight on the eve of my 40th birthday in May. And we're driving down I-15 in Salt Lake, and we just had this big fight. And I was so mad, I slept in the basement, and I felt so unsafe we slept in the basement. But what's interesting, I did, not she, I did. But what's interesting is the very next day, we talked after we were calm, and within like 30 minutes, we had worked through it because we've developed a skill set. Okay, so that skill set is a lot about boundaries. That skill set is a lot about understanding what my boundaries are, what her boundaries are. It's being able to communicate in conflict effectively. It's each of us being able to work through the shame of the incident, and they're just to be able to effectively listen. to the other, to have empathy for the other. And so my assertion, I guess, today is why willpower alone isn't enough. It's because we need skills in order to really succeed, no matter if it's recovery, and especially in our marriage, as parents, as individuals. Just the same way in our professional life, we need to have skills in order to succeed and to advance and do well. We need to be able to have skills in life as well. So skill acquisition is one of the best things that we've pursued the last, I guess it's almost 3 years. Next month it'll be 3 years, and it's something that we value greatly. Anyways, skills are a huge line of defense. They're the first line of defense, in my opinion, and that's why willpower alone is not enough. Guys, if any of this is resonating with you, please share this, because there's so many people who just kind of motor through life and do it in a way that's entirely disconnected from their partner. It doesn't matter if they have issues with betrayal or addiction. There's a lot of people who coexist simply because they don't have the skills to manage life's stress. And so they just coexist and they just avoid the conflict. But in truth, it doesn't have to be that way. It's not willpower alone, but it's a skill set that can help life be sweet and life to be really what you want it to be. It takes work, but it's possible.